Let's talk about Lucifer. We ready? Is Lucifer the name of Satan? Let's begin. Let's go to Isaiah 14:12. Let's begin. Class has begun. Let's focus. Let's see how various translations render Isaiah 14:12. Holy Spirit, you take charge and control. All right. Now, King James Version says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." Lucifer. But wait, notice other translations. American Standard Version, "O day star." Amplified, "Star of the morning, light bringer." Message, "Babylon, day star, son of dawn." Modern English Version, which is modernized King James, "Lucifer." Names of God Bible, "Morning Star." You see, few translations render it Lucifer. The majority render it as morning star or shining one, right? Son of the dawn. Why is that? Now you ready to learn? Why is that? Lucifer is not a translation. It's not a translation of the Hebrew, right? Nor is it a translation of Latin. It's a transliteration from Latin. Lucifer is a Latin term. Lucifer comes from the Latin Vulgate. When the King James translators and those that preceded them translated the Bible into English, they consulted not only the Hebrew, Aramaic texts of the Old Testament, they also consulted the Greek versions, the Septuagint, and the Latin versions. Because don't forget, this is in the West, right? This is in Europe. This is in England, right? This is in the West. And Western theology and scholarship was influenced by the Latin vernacular, the Latin language. And don't forget, in the West, the chief translation was the Latin Vulgate. So Lucifer is a transliteration of the Latin of Isaiah 14:12. It's not even a transliteration of the Hebrew. Isaiah 14:12 is written in Hebrew. And in Hebrew, it doesn't say Lucifer. Let me show you what it says. Do you see it? Halel, here it is. Now here they're putting Lucifer because of the popularity of the term due to the influence of the King James Bible. But it's Halel ben Shachar. So let's see what the Hebrew is. Is it Lucifer? No, it's Halel. So why aren't you arguing that Satan's name is Halel as opposed to Lucifer? Because Lucifer is the translation of Halel into Latin. You get it? And now let's look at the Greek versions, the Septuagint. Now let's look at the Greek. How did the Greek render the word Halel? Latin renders it Lucifer. How does the Greek render it? Here are the Greek words. O Iophorus. Where do you get Lucifer? Someone reading the Greek would never see Lucifer. They would see O Iophorus. So how did it end up in your King James Bible or William Tyndale? Because they consulted not just the Hebrew, Aramaic, but the Greek and Latin versions. Because I'm going to show you now the word Lucifer in the Latin Vulgate. Notice the word Lucifer, Job 11:17. The word Lucifer, 2 Peter 1:19. Neither 2 Peter or Job are talking about Satan. Now let's see what Job 11 is talking about. It's talking about hope for the righteous and the afflicted. That though you think it's over and you're done with, you will rise as the day star. Look, Job 11:17. And brightness like that of the noonday shall arise to thee at evening. So though it's dark, light will shine on you. There's hope. And when thou shalt think thyself consumed, thou shalt rise as a day star. You will rise. You won't be consumed. But it says you'll rise as Lucifer. So you're saying that God is saying the righteous will be raised as Satan? Okay, so now with that said, let's look at the context of Isaiah 14. It starts at 3 and it goes all the way to 23. All right, let's read King James. We'll start at 3. And it shall come to pass, this is Legacy Standard Bible, this is King James, but I'll pronounce the name as Yahweh. Shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor seized? The golden city seized. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Okay? Even the cypress trees are glad over you, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since you are laid low, no tree cutter comes up against us. Okay, let's continue. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. Here, Sheol from beneath trembles excitedly over you to meet you when you come. It stirreth up the dead for thee. It wakens for you the spirits of the dead. Who are the spirits of the dead in Sheol and hell? All the chief ones of the earth, the leaders of the earth, right? It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? They will answer and say to you, even you have been made weak as we. Now, you understand what it's talking about? It's talking about all the kings and the kingdoms who were pagan and immoral, who were struck down either by the king of Babylon, right? King of Babylon, who ended up in Sheol, in Hades, in hell. And now they're looking at the mighty king of Babylon conquer the world. You too? You too got slain? You too got vanquished? You too were made nothing like us? Now watch, though, the king of Babylon. Now you're going to see where the word Lucifer comes in. They will answer and say to you, even you have been made weak as we. You have become like us. Your pride and the music of your harps have been brought down to Sheol. Maggots are spread out as your bed beneath you. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols. So if you don't understand what these terms are, look at a modern translation. What are viols? Right? Harps. Right? Harps. Now watch here, though. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? You really want to convince me this Lucifer is Satan? Well, how do worms cover Lucifer? Worms cover and consume a body that's dead. So here it's talking about the king of Babylon. His soul joins the other souls of vanquished pagan kings, where his body, right, becomes a bed for worms. You're telling me that's Satan? Satan's body will be covered with worms? So who is Lucifer? How you have fallen from him, O star of the morning, son of the dawn. Well, in the context, who is God speaking of? Who is God addressing? The king of Babylon. Okay, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Now here's where people say, well, it's got to be Satan. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. No, watch here. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds and will be like the Most High. All right, see, that's got to be Satan. No, you know why? Guys, think with me. I thought Satan fell from heaven when he was in heaven. But this Lucifer is not in heaven. He's on earth, and he'll ascend to heaven. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. If this is Satan, Satan is in heaven, and he rebelled in heaven and was thrown in the earth. But whoever this is, he's not in heaven. Whoever this is, he's not in heaven. He's on earth. He reigns from the earth, but now wants to ascend to heaven to rule in heaven alongside of God. In the context, it's not about the king of Babylon, who, like other pagans, thought he's a god who could rival the God of Israel. Because one thing you may not know, this is a fact. The nations thought that when they went to battle, their gods went to battle with other gods. So it wasn't just one nation versus another nation. It was the God of that nation fighting the other God. So if this nation defeated, let's say, Israel, they took that to mean their God defeated Yahweh. Let me show you that. You ready? Let's go to Isaiah 36. Isaiah 36:13. The Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in Judean and said, hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus says the king, do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to deliver you. And do not let Hezekiah make you trust in Yahweh, saying, Yahweh will surely deliver us. This city will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, make your peace with me and come out to me and eat each of his vine and eat and each of his fig tree and drink each of the waters of his own cistern until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Now watch. Beware lest Hezekiah mislead you, saying, Yahweh will deliver us. Has any one of the gods of the nations delivered his land from the hand of the king of Syria? You see how they viewed military battles? Military battles weren't simply battles between humans. It was a battle between the gods of the nations. And if Greece, for example, conquered Assyria, that means the gods of the Greeks defeated the gods of the Assyrians. So when Israel was being conquered by the nations, they thought, see, our gods defeated Yahweh. And so because of God handing over Israel to discipline and allowing the nations to punish them, God was allowing himself to be mocked, ridiculed, and slandered, because God knew that the nations would take that their God had defeated him. You see the situation they put God in? But here's the final example. Does Satan work through human rulers? Here you go. Revelation 13. The dragon who's the serpent. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Then I saw a beast coming out of the sea, having 10 horns. That means he has 10 kings who will swear allegiance to him. 7 heads, meaning his kingdom is situated on 7 hills, historically known as the Roman Empire. And on his horns were 10 diadems, and on his heads were blasphemous names. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard. These are all the symbols of Daniel 7. Go read Daniel 7. Daniel saw same kinds of visions and symbols. And his feet were like those of a bear. And his mouth was like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, Satan, gave him his power and his throne and great authority. You got it? And they worshiped the dragon because he gave his authority to the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who's like the beast and who's able to wage war with him? So what do we learn? Satan works through human rulers, empowers human rulers, empowers human rulers. So what does that mean? Let's see if you're catching it. Is Isaiah 14 about the king of Babylon? Absolutely. But can it also then extend to that evil, wicked spirit ruler working through him? Absolutely. Can it be Satan? Absolutely. So, can we call Satan Halel? Absolutely. In Latin, Lucifer? Absolutely. Which is why even exorcists, whether Catholic priests or Orthodox priests, when they are exorcising demons, you will find that Lucifer is the name given to Satan. Everyone got it? See how it all came full circle? You see how it all came full circle? Let me repeat. Is Isaiah 14 about Satan? No. It's about the king of Babylon, who thought he's a god. But all pagans thought they were empowered, energized by gods and goddesses. The Bible says, yes, they are empowered, by powerful spirit creatures, but they're not gods, they're not goddesses, they're demons, they're Satan. So, can that also refer to that evil spirit that empowered the king of Babylon? Absolutely. When he gets crushed, does that spirit ruler get crushed? Absolutely. So can we extend it to Satan? Yes, you can.